So, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. You've not heard from me for a while in a live video like this. And it wasn't planned. These days, nothing is. This is not a planned video. And the reality is, the reality to all of it is, we the people of Trinidad and Tobago are playing a dangerous game with ourselves. And we don't realize it. And we laughing together and we dying alone. And it's only at the moment when death is sure that we realize that we were laughing with a team, but we were never together. We were never for each other. I was just standing in a bank, and I was sitting in the bank first, and there's this elderly guy who was working himself up because for some reason something's wrong in his account, and he's blaming the bank. He's blaming the bank, and he's not. You could see he's a poor fella. He there in his short pants and a vest and a shades. I would put him in his 70s, 80s. And he's in the bank, slowly ramping himself up. Loud. For everybody to hear. And when he finally gets to the teller, this person who, I don't think he dealt with him before, but he's trying to get him to understand that the bank did him wrong. And the teller's trying to explain him something, and he's not understanding. And he's telling the teller that he's going across the road for the police, and he's going to make a fraud squad report on the bank. And I'm standing in the bank, and I'm feeling compassion for this man who doesn't realize that the police and the fraud squad and the bank don't really give a shit about him. It's not because of him or who he is, but it's because of all of us. And it's because of Trinidad. And he could have been, I remember, standing at that same teller counter and watching. So you gathered that this guy was obviously not a wealthy person, so he wouldn't fit into the light skin, white skin, high brown category. I remember standing up in that same bank and watching a former big contractor, Goodwood Park liver, who is trying to understand how he's arrived at a situation where he's going to lose everything. And whether he did right or wrong or whatever in his life, it doesn't matter. The two of these people in the same bank came face to face with the same valuelessness of their existence. Their complete lack of importance in Trinidad. You see, we walk around with this belief in our minds that you will turn to somebody in authority and they will fix it for you. And it is only when you turn to those people in authority, and you realize that they don't give a shit about you. Let me give you a close example, close to home. My father's brother, Michael Alexander, lives in Columbus Circle. I think they live out of the country now, but he have a big multi-million-dollar house in Columbus Circle. He was a pilot for multiples of local and international airlines. He did well in his life. He have a fancy house in Columbus Circle. But Michael Alexander, my father's brother, chose to work against me politically and to support Faris Al-Rawi, because Michael Alexander thought that Faris Al-Rawi was a surer bet, and that when Faris was in office, he would remember Michael Alexander and help him. Because everybody want that. Everybody want to be able to, like that man. That man only go into the fraud squad because he never had that kind of money like Michael Alexander that he could say he could go to Faris Al-Rawi. So the man is going to the fraud squad. In his mind, there's somebody. In his mind, we have this idea, the teacher, the principal, the police, the prime minister. We have this idea in our mind, this erroneous concept that there is somebody that we could go to and they will fix it. So anyway, Michael Alexander, the story I get from him is that his neighbor Miles Abraham, a next wannabe big shot, built his building onto the perimeter wall. And after Michael went to Faris, and Faris wouldn't take the call, and Michael went to the regional corporation because he feels like he is somebody in society. And when he needs to leverage his somebodyness, and he went to them, and they ignored him because he was not somebody enough, they found his way to me. I tried to leave the bank just now because I can't stop and tell the guy, don't waste your time. I don't want to involve myself because I'm watching the country fall. I have been saying for decades now. My son just told me on the phone, my son just calculated what my family have lost because of my unwillingness to be a corrupt PNM or UNC politician and try to fight for people who don't give a shit about themselves. That's why nobody gives a shit about you. Because you don't give enough of a shit about your own self to think that you are a diagnosis or a bad drive or a house break or a random shooting away from everything that you know going to total hell. We walk around with this other concept that we could talk about other people and we could laugh at other people because it will happen to them, but it won't happen to us. There's no stray bullets for us. There's no break a major road for us. There's no jump a wall with an AR-15. There's no coming through the roof. There's none of that. We think, and in case it come near us, we know people. We walk around with that. We walk around with that concept. So the reason the country is about to fail, because Raul is calling a press conference to tell you that he has his 19th version of COVID. Every time he needs to duck, every time he needs to hide, he has to get COVID and lie to the nation. But forget that, because he was never really your prime minister. You could be as black as him. You could be blacker. In fact, if you are, you would less of a shit to him. But he's not the important one. He's eating cabinet food and drinking cabinet wine and living a nice life. But he's not really running the country. But I've been trying to tell you all this. And I've been saying this. And my son and my family have to tell me how much we've lost. How much you put aside, Phillip, how much you walked away from the victimization our family faced. Because you, unlike your father, brother Michael, and his other brother George, who wanted to leverage knowing Faris because he caught a Syrian or he married a Syrian, so he's Syrian by marriage. All that shit that you put aside to stand up for this country, Phillip, daddy, brother, son, you don't know how much you've affected negatively. When you call out the Archbishop, your mother, who helped build Living Waters before Jason Gordon reaching Living Waters, when you call out the Archbishop, you affect her negatively. And you have to walk this path, Philip, and you have to keep walking this road and ask yourself, can I mention this Syrian? Can I mention that minister? Can I talk about this business? Can I talk about this Archbishop or this church or this religion in a country that don't give a shit about you, but it gives a shit about what I say? Now, you will never get videos on my wall of sexcapades. You'll never get all the bullshit that Ian Allen does and all the rest of them. You'll never get that. I am never coming. I talk straight. You will see me cuss the crap out of a UNC PNM joker that they're recycling now, because when I stepped into politics, I was hot like a pepper. I didn't care. I was going to talk, so a synergy host that wanted to put me in a corner and apply things to me, you watch me cuss her silly. And that's who I am. Brave and strong. I will die for what I believe. That's how my mind works. I will not give ground. I will come at you even if I know, because I believe in the end, right must prevail. And I believe that I cannot go to hell for a heavenly cause. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in Ash Wednesday. I don't believe I could put my genitalia in your ass crack for 2 days to a booming backbeat and then go in the church and blessed are you unforgiven. I don't believe in that bullshit. I don't. I believe live a good life. Be a good man, be a good son, be a good brother, be a good father, be a good citizen. That's what I have believed. And all of my thousands of hours of video that you've seen is said that. But I'm trying to leave the bank and I bounce up a next man, an old man. He said, use the man I just see on my phone, I just follow you. It's always start with I just follow you. When I get the call, I just follow you. I know. You ain't just call it to say I just follow you. Anyway, have a nice day. You just start off with I just follow you. I like what you're saying. I like how you're doing. I even like how you're looking. I know all that is a precursor to telling me what you need from me. So, okay, I want to find a way to say, accelerate through the bullshit. Get to the point. And he want to tell me about a tree in Shoro Road, a tree in Shoro Road that going and kill people. He said it fall down and going and kill people. But he poor and he black and he living in Paramin. And they have nobody for him. Maybe close to election time, if the numbers tell them that they need to swing Shoro, they go run up Shoro and cut the tree. But between now and then, unless Faris or Colum need to stunt it, local government and member of parliament, unless they need to stunt it, he and the tree and everybody that it could possibly kill to ask with them. And you live in this, and you live in that country. But you don't know. But big shot people now, or people who thought, like my father, Brother Michael, who thought there was big shot people, who thought there was somebody in society, finding out now that they're not. That the same shit they don't give about poor people, they don't give about you. That the looting now is a final loot. They already have their plane ticket book. They know. When it collapses, get out. Look back and say, well, we try. We used to have meetings and we say, and we write a manifesto. This is Trinidad. This is the reality of our country. And the purpose of this video today, watching Big Mike on the stage, big black muscle man Mike, who married the daughter of our ex-chief justice, Big Mike, who traveled the world and fly the flag, Big Mike, who's an icon in this country, get shoved aside and pushed aside to the point where he said, I'm fed up. I don't want no more of this shit. That is what Big Mike was saying. I can't do this shit no more. He is saying, my country is a shithole. I realize it's a shithole. I realize NCC and Gypsy and Rowley and the entire band are shit snakes and canal conks. And he may have known. He may have known for quite some time, but it wasn't mashing his corn yet. And until it mashed his corn, He was prepared to go along. And that's why we're going down the toilet. Because all of us who know, everybody who sit down in that bank, watch them two men. The old man who going to the fraud squad because he thinks Scotiabank TV money. And the other one who worried that people going on dead and show road in Parliament. All of we watch. We stand up in the line in the grocery. And when the woman ahead of us, when her card get denied for the third time, and she trying to make excuses, and she trying to study what she could put back, and if she could, because she need to take something home, we stops in, and we shifting our weight from foot to foot, because we ain't care about her. We will run over her, and this is normal times, you know. So when this shit come and looting and all that crap happening in this country, because make no mistake, if law and order and government stop functioning, because it looks like that's where they're going. It looks like the nation state is failing around us. I talk to everybody. Everybody starts, I love you, I like you, you're sweet too bad, your words, you just resonate in my head as prayer. Every night if you talk, I'm talking with you. But keep me anonymous. Keep me anonymous. Nobody must know. Nobody must know. And that's why it continues to be a shit show. It continues to be a shit show. Robin Montano was a former senator. And he's a big lawyer in the country. And he's writing in the paper that he knows who killed his brother, his cousin. He knows the policeman who covered it up. But you don't have proof. In a country where you can't prove it, you can't get the government to prove it for you. You can't get law enforcement to prove it to you. If you say something, and they ask you in the court, did you try to find the truth of this? And you say, no, Your Honor, I thought if I said, look the smoke, there would be somebody to look for the fire. Not in this shit show. Not here. Here you have to do the whole job. You have to bring it fully formed to the police and say, this is what I know about that person. And if you bring it fully formed to the wrong police, you could end up dead. Because the information could go back to the person and they could say, but wait now, this man just is suspected. He know, time to out he. And that's why we have the amount of murders that we have in this country. Because we walk around thinking, not me, not mine, them. I tell Trinidadians, friends of mine, who whine on social media that the child passed for Fatima. I see them. My child passed for Fatima, woohoo! I get a holiday, woohoo! A presentation, woohoo! When I see you 5 years later, talking about your child get shoot for a phone, how they gonna shoot him for a phone? I want to remind you and rewind you to woohoo! Because when you were woohooing, 18,000 parents, 18,000 parents, and for the most part, parents who could least afford it, have to find a way to get their children through the failed schools. That not Fatima, woohoo, not holy name and presentation, woohoo. So when you don't pay attention, when you only care about the corner that you're whining on, you're sowing the seeds of your destruction and setting your 11-year-old up to meet the ones who didn't get a woohoo. And that's Trinidad's problem today. But you don't have to care. You just need to say, you know somebody, or you connected, or you black and it's a black government, it's we time now, you're Indian and it's we time now then, and all that shit. I call everybody out. Indar Singh, UNC's biggest stunt artist. Indar Singh is sending reminders to the media that today he's observing the anniversary of the death of the divers, and I'm wondering, I was in Paria. I'm just calling for people like Indar Singh. Come add your voice. Come bring your followers. These people still alive in the pipe. You want to ride the man coffin now? When people ask me why you didn't go Anil Beam funeral, yes, Kamla was there. That is exactly why I didn't go. I am not like Kamla. Kamla need to stand up on Anil Beam dead body to be relevant. Kamla not dealing with issues. Kamla not talking about banks and water and jobs. Kamla don't have to care about that. Kamla just have to draw her pension and wait it out. The idea is if the black party fail enough, they're going to try the Indian party again. And that's why the country is a shit show. All of this behind me. Forget it. Forget all this. We do all this because you have to do it. You have to have these things ready. We build a party. And you know how hard it is to find volunteers? Because we don't have cocaine money. $60 billion worth of cocaine passed through this country every year. $100 billion is laundered. That businesses go walk through West Mall, walk through Long Circular Mall, walk through Twin City Mall, walk through Gulf City, walk Arapita Avenue. There are restaurants in this country that don't see 3 people for the month, that paid big rent, and at the end of the night, running off, they have nightclubs. Huge. Every night of the week, running off ticker tape. We did $1 million in sales. So you deposit $1 million cocaine money in your account. It's sales from a restaurant. But hear me. There's a purpose to this video. I didn't just come to rant. I am being told every day, get you in government. Once we get you in government, we'll fix it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Go and kiss Kamla and talk UNC bullshit, and they'll put you in a position where you can turn around and fix it. It doesn't work that way. That's Pollyanna bullshit. That is rose-colored glasses nonsense. If you are still a UNC supporter, despite the nothing that they do, and if you think that the box drain and the lights in the field that you get, you're entitled to that under PNM, so I'm not giving you wrong for being upset. But if you think that that is enough to represent a government, then our healthcare was still shit, and our water, we didn't get water for all, we get water for the people who getting paid by the gallon from the state who were former UNC ministers. If you didn't see that, or even worse, if you know it and you still support the UNC, because Gary Griffith and the NTA have nowhere to go. This is why Gary is doing nothing but talking a little national security every now and then. Because he knows there is, especially now that Watson Duke burned down himself. Because, I mean, set him up in a karaoke bar and let him sing some blues for you and he will do well. But politically, Watson Duke dead. And Gary knows, he knows that the only value the NTA has is to negotiate with the UNC a piece of the pie. But I am being told that that is the only future for the PEP, and I cannot do that. I see the UNC as the yellow devil and the PNM as the red devil. I see those two parties. I want to say this clear. I want both sides to clip this. I never want to take this back. There are people in the UNC I love. There are people in the PNM that I will work with. But those two parties and what they represent in this country, you see, I know the contract mafia. There's a reason why all those lawsuits, they sue me. And poor black people are sitting down eating their popcorn, waiting to see if Phillip lost. Phillip lost, oh good, look, he can beat again, he can beat again. But Martin Luther King Jr., when he was standing on the soapbox, a little boy say, Mommy, you think they're coming to bite him today? You think they're coming to beat him up again today? You think they're coming to throw him in the jail again today? You see, that's the job of the good and the decent, is to separate yourself from the evil that wants to consume your country. I am not Martin Luther King, so don't, and I'm not trying to play Christ. I give as good as I get. And I know my faults. And I know the things that I do wrong. The only reason I ever stepped up for politics, the only reason, was because I don't want to take my family and go and learn the landscape of another country. I watch my fellow Trinbagonians who come back for Carnival. You could see how much they miss their country. But they're functional where they live, and an entire generation of my friends, their children and now their grandchildren are growing up in America and Canada mostly. And they are happy because they live in a functional society. So they've escaped the plantation. The reason it cannot fix is because black for black vote and Indian for Indian vote is more important than Trinidad. And for the most part, people who have two $20 in their wallet separating the two single dollars feel they make it. So I'm not in politics at all. I don't talk about politics. I don't want to get involved in politics. No problem. Your light bill going through the roof, the cost of food, you can't afford it, your house, your rent, your mortgage, the banks, every single thing that pressing down on you like 1,000,000 tons, all of that is politics, but you're not political. No problem. You're not political. They're happy. Be less political. If you're not racist, don't be political. Because what they're afraid, what they're scared to death of is people who care about Trinidad first. Who you could be black as the ace of spades. You could have just your grandmother step off the fatal razak with mud from Calcutta between she toes. But you love Trinidad first. You see that? They're afraid those people. This is not an easy job. I would give this up. I would give it up. My intention was, Gary, come and run PEP, a done bill. I will make sure you get voted into office. Anybody, Watson, come on board. I didn't know. Trying, looking for all the people. Gary Aboud. Gary Aboud can't stand with me. Because Gary Aboud had said to me enough times that he have to choose between his family and his country. And standing with me because he knows. Because he stood with me on enough issues and enough times. In fact, Gary Aboud was in Paria with me. But he knows that there are people he and I are related to that are not good people. And I'll leave it at that. But they're not good people. But he, unlike me, he needs to go to the wedding. He needs to go and do the little dance and clink the little glass and eat the kiddie. He needs it. I don't. I knew going in. This is not joke activism. This is all in. We're going to rescue it, or we're going to fail. But never will Trinidad ever be able to say, we didn't try. Vernon de Lima, somebody I have the greatest respect for, he said, Phillip, you try, you could stop now. You could stop now. Leave it, they know. My videos, collectively, have crossed tens of millions of views. All of my videos is information. None of my videos is woman skin up in bathtub talking about who beat who and who loving who and who bullying who. That's not my videos. My videos all are strong content. My videos all is information. People in Trinidad and Tobago understand. Even the people who support PNM know they're getting taken advantage of PNM because they're clear in their mind now. It's not easy for the government to fool people anymore. That's why Carnival bus. Carnival bus because people see the illusion. People see Island Finance and the load for the next 12 months that you have to catch your ass to pay or don't feed your children. People see it. They understand now. That was the job and they know. That was my job. Tens of millions of views. So we could never say, and I almost finished writing my book that the 21 policies came out of. 21policies.com is our policies and everybody knows that those policies will fix this country. Every president. You know who know? Mia Motley. Mia Motley is one of my WhatsApp contacts. And as I talk it, Mia do it in Barbados. People ask me, how you so bright? PEP. Philip Edward Alexander. 21policies.com. But that came out of a book called Reinventing Trinidad and Tobago. And I almost finished the book. And that book is going to be made available for free to download. I don't want a cent. Everybody. So you can't say that you don't know that enough water falls on this country every year to drown it so that we should never have a water problem and we should certainly not be paying Desalcott or any desalinating company billions of dollars. We should not. We would know that. We should know that. We should know how justice works, how the parliament works, how education is supposed to work, and why there should be no such thing as a prestige school or a failed school in this country. We will know that we can feed ourselves, that the government of the day, PNM and UNC, facilitated financiers who import food. So we don't grow food. All the vegetables in Massey, all of it is imported. None of it growing here. And they do that so that other people could make billions. PNM and UNC, Kamla thought she bundling Baji and Bori bullshit. Kamla Prasad Bisesa doesn't give a shit about you. You could be Indian, Aji, black, you could be Chinese, you could be... Them don't give a shit about you. Them give a shit about money. Money, 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 money. Pay me. Pay me now. Pay my bills. Treat me nice. Put me in blue lights. Fly me around in a helicopter. They give a shit about you. And it's hard to accept that. That's why a lot of you still. But Carnival bust this year because the people can't fool themselves anymore. They can't go and get drunk. They can't afford it. But they can't go and get drunk. The little, whoever remained in the middle class, that same 3,000 people went in all them Fatima Fete, QRC Fete, St. Mary's Fete and dress up and post on Facebook. The majority of people in Trinidad who went to them fetes came from America with Yankee dollars and spent some time and bought a tribe costume and jumped in the road to reminisce about Trinidad and then back to a country that works. We who live in here, that they was looking for spectators for the Bamsi parade, nobody was there. There was nobody to see Carib ads. There was nobody to see Angostura bullshit. There was nobody. B-Mobile and Digicel spend millions putting up all kind of ads and the people weren't there. South Key bus, Port of Spain bus, nobody in the Savannah. The country whole carnival bus. By 10 o'clock in the night, the place clean. People say, oh God, they do a good job cleaning. No, there was nobody to dirty it. The place was clean all day. This wasn't a real carnival, it bust. And Gypsy saying he want to give 2 thumbs up. He should get those 2 thumbs up and stick it up his ass. Winston Gypsy Peters is a cancer in this country. And if this was a real country, I have been asking since Boxing Day, Winston Gypsy Peters, how are there tents up in this country being rented by the day 2 months before Carnival? When the purpose of a temporary tent is to put it up in the morning and take it down in the evening. You didn't need to do it 2 months in advance. So how did that happen? Did the tent companies give us 1 month and 27 days free? Or did you pay for 1 month and 27 days more than you needed to, and why? Hundreds of millions of dollars. Your country failing, and now all I want to say to you is, wake up. Imagine if this country can't feed itself now. Do you know that at any given time, we have 6 weeks worth of food in Trinidad? In Trinidad. It comes by ship. It comes by container. It comes on the CARICOM jetty. But it comes by boat. And at any given time, we have 6 weeks worth of food in this country. Anything interrupt that. In 6 weeks, you're eating dog and rat and cat. 6 weeks. Ask them, watch the expiry dates and it'll tell you. It can't be more than that. We are living dangerously. We are pretending that the nonsense that we hear from these politicians, when you go to the movies, they tell you, suspend disbelief. Your mind will tell you that's not possible. But then the suspension of disbelief says, well, I'll let it pass because I'm watching a movie. The same thing takes place with our politics. With our politics, we have to suspend disbelief. We can't watch Rowley and Dial Singh and know that Rowley gave Dial Singh's wife a contract to fix pavements in Woodbrook that poor black Indian masons could do. That URP and CPEP and local government and Ministry of Works and their employees could do. Why did we give it to Dial Singh? Why is UDCOT going to build itself a new headquarters when there is nothing for UDCOT to do after it go and squander its money, the Trinidad taxpayers' money, fooling people? Why? How could you watch these people? How could you watch Dial Singh and the rest of the bullshit squad that had these pandemic press conferences and lied to you. Now that you found out everything that they tried to force onto you and onto your children are killing people. Now that you know that, how do you feel? That's your leadership, and it's only your leadership because your vote holds them there. You could, in a heartbeat, you could change how this country runs. You just have to be willing to stand up and to speak out and to reclaim your vote and your labor and your consumption. And I wanna give my country a round of applause for leaving the mother of all carnivores on the shelf. Well done. That took some pride. You could prove the point in every place and in every way. But I don't know if we're ready. I don't know. The hardest thing for me to do is to gauge where we are. Sabga Media and TV6 and them have me blocked, so I can't know. I can't know. I can't know where we are. They won't poll us because I don't know if they are as afraid as the contract mafia to find out what does the third force represent. A progressive empowerment party government is the end of the contract mafia. A progressive empowerment party government is the end of corruption. And you have to know that by now. You have to know that Phillip Edward Alexander may not be the jackass you want, but he's the jackass you need in a country that is trying to destroy itself from the government down. You have to know. But doing this, trying to create something that wakes people up to the reality of where we are, why $500 million worth of police vehicles have to rot so that the people who sell us police vehicles could sell us more at a higher price than the average person pays. That it is better for the kickback artists to damage and destroy fire appliances so that those who import and pay in kickback like we do with the Coast Guard boats. This entire country is built on governments, past, present, that have used public office to steal money through contracts, through fixing road and pavement and school and importing boat and importing fire engine and bus. Bus is the biggest racket in this country. We already run a bus service. The purpose of PTSC is to facilitate governments who come into office buying parts and parts contracts and buses. You have to decide. But I am at a point myself where let's go and watch Paw Patrol movie, and that sounded like a better use of my time. I don't know. Getting volunteers, getting the right people to put aside their bullshit and stand up for country, because to come and join a movement that have this much work to do and know that they need you more than you need them. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's the next play. I know that I could fix it. I know that if you, the people, demanded a debate, Phillip, Gary, Kamala, Rowley, let's talk issues. Let the people ask the questions. You'll just moderate. I think that if you did that, you'd get something, you'd get an idea of how easily the country could fix. I don't know what is the next step. I know I could fix it. I know it could all be fixed. I know the education system, the water, jobs, national security, securing the borders, both legitimate ports and the maritime borders. I know removing the corrupt from office, shrinking government, creating hope and opportunity, making Trinidad functional internationally. I know all of those things could fix. It is the politics that is the challenge. It is the racist politics, and it is the bribe politics, and it's all them little small gangs that want to talk to you and say, PNM offer this, UNC offer that, how much are they offering? I'm telling you all now, we have nothing to offer but a better country. If you vote into office people who are benefiting banditry and criminality and corruption, don't you expect that that is the country that you'll get? Don't you understand that? Is that maths too hard to maths? See how easy it is to talk shit on the thread? Shamir Mash. You and Machel Montano would have a power point. See how easy it is to talk shit on the thread? That person don't have to care about their future or their tomorrow or their this evening. When shit talk is more important. Get some likes, you see? Ajani. I don't know what's the next step in a country that don't seem to like itself. I'll tell you this though, for free. Because I ready to walk away. I didn't think that I could lose interest in this country, but I've lost interest in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't want to leave, but I think that anybody who could leave should leave, and leave quick. And don't take this as chain up. Get out of Trinidad. Anywhere you go, the faster you get somewhere else, is the faster you get legitimate there, and the faster you'll get set up there. Very few Trinidadians leave Trinidad and fail. But I think that I am fed up. And I want to apologize to everybody who's helped. I want to apologize to all the people who donated money or their time. I want to apologize to all the volunteers. I want to apologize to everybody who standing on the sidelines with one hand full of hope. I think I fed up. I can't do this no more. This fight, this political fight, is a weight. I have given up a little over 30 years of my life. That's a lot. That's more than half my life. I have fought this. And Saturday coming, I have a meeting, caucus, with the whole party. And I'm going to want us to have a conversation about if what we're doing makes sense, or if we should leave the PNM and the UNC to destroy each other and to destroy the country, and then if there is something to save and the people who want it saved come back. I don't know. But right now, the reason you're not hearing from me, don't think I not see it, don't think I'm not getting your messages. I'm getting all the messages of all the problems you all have, everybody. And none of you have anybody to turn to. But until you all come out in your numbers and stand up together, me fixing your problems one by one, you'll get a new problem. Like Joel Latif from TSTT. He's only around me because I help him. And I help TSTT workers, the ones who, the VSEP workers, and I help them. So every time I see that I have a message from him, I know is something to benefit him. He never messages me and says, how could I help PEP? How could I help Citizens Union? Now that we've benefited so much, how could I give back? I don't know how to fix a country where the people don't give a shit about it or themselves. those politics, that's eluding me. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.